Alright guys, welcome back to a brand new video which I was planning to upload yesterday, but I finished my exams last week, and since I have this week to relax a bit and that stuff, I decided to not to do it yesterday and instead making it today. Today's topic is basically how the newly released Kera Evo 37 really had to be as good as it truly is, not only for D-Class standards, but also for the entire game as a reference. Also, I will be talking about the ban wave that happened around 2 days ago, which I'm sure it affected some of those watching this video. So with nothing else to add, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so let's begin with the Kera. You see, many people thought that since I wasn't uploading any videos for the past 2 months where I have been absent, that meant that I wasn't playing the game as well, which is not true, because if it's true that I played it less, I always kept an eye on all the new things that came to Asphalt Legends Unite, and of course I kept unlocking the new cars, without missing a single one, as you can see by looking at my car count. The Inferno Sétimo Cercho still remains as the only car I no longer have, but not owning that one isn't something that quits me from sleeping, honestly. Basically because I am quite sure that all the Inferno cars will end up getting completely removed from all garages once the license expires from the game, since I really doubt that Gameloft will renovate it, so yeah. I will lose my Inferno Automobile Inferno, but on the other hand, no one will have the Sétimo Cercho, so if both cars end up getting removed from the game, which is something that could happen as we could see on Asphalt 8, well, at least the compensation will be huge for those who had at least any of those cars. Anyways, we are driving away from the topic. What I wanted to say is that of course I couldn't skip the Kera, which at first I thought it was a great car just by looking at the stats, but once I saw the actual performance, I truly discovered how powerful the Kera was. On D-Class, like in most of the upper classes, we have been getting cars which, despite of being labeled as kings by Gameloft, they ended up being quite disappointing once they arrived. In most cases it was just that the stats were good in any of those cars, but the way the car drifted is not. And that's how, after seeing some class kings being expelled from the elite events like the Porsche Panamera on C-Class, the McLaren F1 LM on B-Class, the Pagani Mola on A-Class, which was quite recent by the way, and lastly the Hennessy Venom F5 from S-Class, we ended up with cars that weren't as good as those who left the top 5 of the highest ranked cars on each class, which theoretically were supposed to be the cars offering the best performance. Those new highest ranked cars like the Ferrari Daytona on C-Class, the Lotus ER9 on B-Class, the Di Tommaso P72 on A-Class, and the Tartarus on S-Class turned out to be just not as good as most of the cars they kicked from the top 5, and that made the experience of driving on the elite events quite frustrating sometimes, since those new cars are also harder to get in some cases compared to the other cars that just got kicked, And on D-Class we had basically the same situation. The Glickenhaus 004C, the DS E10's performance, and the Ford Mach E were labeled as king as well, and despite all of those were the highest ranked D-Class cars at the time they were released into the game, the truth was that if you get to drive them you will realize that it doesn't make sense how bad those cars feel while drifting in many cases. The Volkswagen Electric Air didn't have this effect as much as the aforementioned cars, yet it still felt weird because of the massive spoiler the EDR has. But then we finally got the Kera, and damn, I have to admit that this car truly feels like a king. The acceleration is great, the nitro is quite strong as well, and despite that the top speed isn't massive, it's already faster than the Volkswagen EDR, so combined with the handling, we have a really solid car that has been proven capable of beating many records in some tracks. Hopefully this trend of making the best car of each class an actual king like the Kera rather than the fillers I mentioned earlier will be kept for all the classes above, paving the road to allow people who have been saving tokens for a really long time to finally spend them on worthy cars. Well, I don't have high hopes regarding the S-Class, since we all know that an event where a S-Class king is openly available for anyone with the right amount of tokens is basically impossible these days, but there is a chance of such special events coming to the lower classes. So fingers crossed from my side. This update, for example, we got some quite decent cars like the Ferrari Modificata, which is coming in a few days from now, and also this Kera, but we also got a car that I can't understand how to justify even. The HTT Plethora Locus, or whatever it's called, honestly. Sure thing, it has massive nitro and a great handling, but everything else is quite weak, and this car has almost 5,000 rank points. Like, come on guys, Around this time last year, we were getting cars like the Deus Bayan, and now we are getting the Xinger and this HTT Locus Plethora. And I understand that Gameloft's primary income stream is not from, making tracks into the game, it's not from releasing cars, it's just straight from the bundles you can get to speed up the way you can progress, unlock more cars, and so on. But come on guys, at least a decent car that justifies the price would make more sense than trying to grab $80 just to unlock the HTT Locus Plethora. Just my thoughts, just saying. Oh, and I almost forgot to talk about this, but apparently a few days ago, once that the Clash season was over, a bug appeared where if you left and joined back your club, you could get the Clash Round rewards again, as well as the reputation points and basically everything once again, over and over again. And some clubs got most of their members doing it, which by the way was quite a bold move if you ask me, since everyone who took advantage of the bug got a 2-day ban, making many people to lose the Chimera key from the Grand Prix, since if you get banned, your Grand Prix results get removed. As the cherry on top, all the Clash coins and tokens you could get during the glitch would get removed, same as anything you buy using those illegally obtained coins. As you can see, it's not like I encourage to take advantage of these kind of glitches, because sure, you can get a ton of free stuff, but Gameloft end up realizing, and if you don't make a proper balance of what to do, you can just get banned and lose a really good car as the Chimera is. So yeah, next time be all aware of this, guys. This was everything I wanted to say on today's video, and now it's your turn. Do you think that Gameloft should release actually great cars as the best ones on each class? Let me know in the comment section, make sure to drop your like, and I will see you really soon as usual with much more Asphalt content. Goodbye guys.